This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. When it's gotta be great and it's gotta be now, it's gotta be Domino's.
Welcome, everyone, to our studio in New York. Cast of characters, you bet. Joe Gibbs, Mike Ditka, Joe Montana. I'm Greg Gumbel. Let's run down scores and highlights for you as we have them, beginning with the game at Soldier Field in Chicago. It's been all Chicago Bears early on. The Houston Oilers have just scored a touchdown, but the Oilers are trailing 25-6. Mike Singletary back for a reunion of the '85 Super Bowl champion Bears. Eric Kramer looks long. Oh, who better to look for than Curtis Conway? Good catch, fine run, 76-yard touchdown. 13-0 Chicago at this point. That was still the score in the first when Houston continuing to struggle on offense. Chris Chandler sacked in the end zone by Al Fontenot. That's 2 points for the Bears and a 15-0 lead. And Rashaan Salam over the top for a 1-yard touchdown. The Bears continue to build. They lead it by a score of 25-6. Look at Eric Kramer's first half. 11 of 19, 206 yards, a touchdown pass, and an interception. And the Bears looking pretty good against an Oilers team that's inept, or are the Bears still looking good anyway?
The Bears are looking good, and I think they're looking good on the defensive side of the ball, which is what worried Dave. And I don't care the fact that they're playing the Oilers. The Oilers are a pretty good offense. They've been able to score some points with Chandler at quarterback. The Bears are doing a great job. They're doing everything they have to do. If they play at this pace, they're going to be tough down the line. All
right, Mike, the Oilers were successful with a 2-point conversion attempt. The Bears' lead is now 25-8. In St. Louis, the Rams and the 49ers. 49ers lose Steve Young. On comes Elvis Gerbach. Gerbach, 6 of 8 for 61 yards and 2 touchdown passes as the 49ers lead the Rams 24-3. Defense has come up big for the 49ers, too. Ken Norton returned an interception for a touchdown, 21 yards. The New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins, the game that you're watching, 3 field goals by Pete Stoyanovich has the Dolphins up 9-0 at halftime. How about these Dolphins in the backup quarterback situation, Joe?
Well, Greg, I think all over the league today we got backup quarterbacks playing. All over the league. Here's 2 of them. And I think you got to say this about the Dolphins. I think they've done a good job. Bernie Kosar is a quality backup guy. In this case, I think he's going to get the job done. They won't lose because of him. And I think Bubby and the Jets, hey, they got to get something going on offense. 50 yards total passing with Brister.
Yeah, the Jets looking any better at all today, Mike?
Well, the Jets, they've complicated their problem. I mean, they got Brister playing quarterback. You know, Boomer may be done for the year. They got to go to Foley. He's next. They lost the best guy when they lost Jeff Blake. I mean, Jeff Blake is one outstanding quarterback in this league. They had him. They didn't use him. They didn't know what they had. Yeah, the Jets have managed just 67 yards of total offense in the first half, 9-0 Miami. In Tampa, the Bucs hosting the Falcons. That is a 14-14 tie at halftime. 2 touchdown passes for Jeff George of Atlanta in that game. At Cleveland, look what the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing to the Cleveland Browns. It is 20-6 as they approach halftime in Cleveland. Offensive coordinator for the Jaguars, Kevin Gilbride, hoping for more from his squad. Mark Brunell avoids the pressure here, rolls left, lifts it up for Cedric Tillman. Jacksonville leads 7-0. Vinny Testaverde looks for wide receiver Rico Smith, but Mickey Washington steps in front and returns down the sideline, 48 yards for a touchdown. The point after was no good. Jaguars were up 13-0. Only the second interception by Testaverde this season. 2 pass interference calls set up Vaughn Dunbar for a 1-yard touchdown run. And the Jacksonville Jaguars in control over the Browns by a score of 20-6. Not looking at all like an expansion team today, are they? What's up with Vinny?
There they are again. They're raising their ugly heads. Old Jacksonville. But the problem is, it goes back to the old thing, mistakes. You got 2 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown by Vinny. The last touchdown set up by 2 pass interference calls. On the other hand, Brunell is running around, throwing the ball, playing really sound football. And when he can't throw it, he's pulling it down and running for yardage. And I think that's the biggest key, those mistakes.
All right, Joe, the Cleveland Browns have lost 2 in a row after having a 3-game winning streak. In RFK Stadium in Washington, the Redskins hosting the Lions at the 13-13 tie in the second quarter. And at Carolina, the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers are tied at 3. Up next, we'll look ahead to the Chiefs and the Broncos by looking back at last year's classic game at Mile High Stadium. And we'll get to that after this from your local station.
Friday, a family camping trip becomes a young mother's nightmare.
I just couldn't do anything.
A real-life River Wild on Unsolved Mysteries, all new NBC Friday. NBC Friday, see for yourself why the critics are fired up about homicide. It's TV's best cop show. It's brilliant drama, compelling television, sizzling. Homicide is the real thing. The conclusion of City of Flames on Homicide, NBC Friday.
Up here, there are no ground rules. So go ahead. Think. Build. Create. Do something amazing. You're going places. And that's why we're here.
Attention, all military E1 and up and civil service. No money down. Getting credit is no problem, and you can get it today with absolutely no payments for 60 days. At New Home TV and Furniture, it's easy to own anything from the huge selection of furniture, TVs, appliances, camcorders, fine jewelry, and more. Remember, no money down. Credit is not a problem. No payments for 60 days. Take it home today. It's yours from New Home TV and Furniture. Buy now.
You're watching the station on your side. WAVY-TV 10. This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. When it's gotta be great and it's gotta be now, it's gotta be Domino's.
It's a doubleheader day here on NBC. The game most of you will see at 4 o'clock Eastern time is Kansas City at Denver. Last year, when they met in Denver, John Elway's touchdown scamper with a minute and a half left put the Broncos up by 4. But Joe Montana one-upped him. It was probably the NFL's best game of last season.
The folks wanted a shootout between the two, and they got it tonight. 24-21.
I was watching that game, and I saw John just take the team down the field, and I said, hey, here's another John Elway comeback.
Just to see him all like, yeah, we won it, we got it won. They take the lead, and we were able to, it's time to come back and take the lead away from them again.
The one thing that I had said to Joe before the drive began was I said, look, they're going to concede some yardage to us, and let's take what's there, and let's try to get the clock stopped in any way that we can.
I had a feeling that it was going to come down to being that whoever had the ball the last would really have to say so.
Joe Montana, I mean, if you give him 20 seconds, he can go down the field on you.
Montana back to throw, 5-step drop, fires a slant, caught by Green. He's inside the, down at the 5-yard line. Montana takes the snap, back to throw, looking right, firing a pass that a leaping grab, Willie Davis, touchdown Kansas City, Willie Davis, touchdown Montana Magic.
One thing I've always said about Joe Montana is you're never out of a football game as long as he's on your side. We ran into the Joe Montana mystique.
My, how things change from one year to the next. You find yourself here now. Big sigh of relief from Marty Schottenheimer a year ago.
Oh, it definitely was. At 0-11 going into Denver, the odds are eventually going to catch up to you, and we almost didn't pull it out for them, but we got lucky there.
You say that the Chiefs are a better team at this time than they were a year ago. Why?
I think a couple things. One, the guys are playing better as a unit offensively. I think the guys, especially on the outside, they're used to the offense. They're making the adjustments quicker. And to be honest, Steve Bono's playing well. His numbers speak for himself, and he's delivering there.
Better than you were playing at this time a year ago?
Better than I was playing at that time, definitely.
Okay, Joe. Joe Gibbs, what's the mystique about going into Mile High Stadium and playing these Broncos?
Well, I tell you what, the best home record in all of football, Greg, and I tell you, I think a lot of it had to do, no matter how we tried to approach the high altitude thing, it seemed to get the best of us. I mean, the medical experts tell us go in and play within 48 hours. It has nothing to do with your team. It doesn't affect you. I tell you, our guys affected us. They came by me, huffing and puffing. We needed 48 oxygen tanks over there to even get by in the game.
And, Mike, first and foremost, you got to deal with John Elway.
First and foremost, what about the kiss? The kiss was beautiful. Elway's great. I mean, and playing in the offense he's playing in, Mike Shannon and him had to discuss what they're doing. They got him in the shotgun. He's comfortable. They're still running a lot of the West Coast plays, but he's sitting back there where he can see what's happening. He's making that offense go. They're going to be hard to stop in that offense.
All right, gentlemen, another late game today. Indianapolis at Oakland, and the Raiders will be minus Jeff Hostetler, who will have to sit after a vicious hit from Denver linebacker Dave Wyman last Monday night. Those of you who weren't with us earlier, take a look at the video we obtained from the Raiders. On a scramble after an Oakland fumble, Wyman throws a forearm and an elbow. Hostetler sustained an injury to his throat. This same piece of footage is being sent to the NFL office and will be reviewed this week. Wyman was ejected from the game and fined $4,000. The Raiders think that is inadequate. There's the entire slate of games coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, featuring all 5 teams from the NFL's strongest division, the AFC West, and our NFL on NBC halftime activities continue.